important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. Well, it's wedding season, so if you're recently engaged, like yours truly, it's time to start planning for your big day. One of the biggest decisions you'll make is where you're going to get married. So there's a relatively new wedding venue about an hour away from Bluefield. It's called Red Hill Farms Wedding and Event Venue. It's located in Fancy Gap, just off I-77 in Carroll County, Virginia. So joining me now are the venue's owners, Tim and Regina Agnew. I want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate you sharing more about your story and how this venue got started. And it is a neat story of how it came to be. It was literally built from the ground up not too long ago. So Tim, I'll start with you, and then Regina, you can jump in here. But share with our viewers how your venue came to be.
Well, we bought the farm originally, and all that was on the farm was a barn that was about to fall. And it was pretty rough shape. And there's a lake on the property. And so as time went on, a couple years went on, we would go out there and have cookouts, and we started cleaning the place up and built a pier and put a diving board out there, and it was just a fun family get-together place. And so as another couple years went by, we decided we wanted to build next to the water, just for our family to have a place to go. So once we got the original new building built, we decided, well, it would be nice to have some bathrooms, and then added a kitchen, and it just progressed, and it's turned out to what it is now, but it's took several years to do. And
so who built the venue? Was it you and some others who worked on it?
yeah, it was my company. I have a construction company, so it was me and a few of my workers built the building. So, and there was really no set plans when we got started, but once it got started, the property kind of dictated what we could do with the water and the way the land laid. So we were really pleased how it turned out.
So Regina, you're really great at interior decorating too. So your venue is filled with beautiful decorations for every season. So tell us more about your story and your involvement with the venue and decorating it, and your passion for helping people find the perfect spot.
To me, I thought more, weddings is not just about the bride and groom.
Yeah.
I thought about mothers and grandmothers and aunts, sisters, you know, who have to be there, and they don't get to experience it if they're so busy having to help decorate or help, you know, do whatever. So I try to decorate as much as I can. I leave a lot of things up so that brides can just come in and I'll take flowers out they don't want, and then I'll help them put flowers in that they do want. Or some people leave like the fall things up. They just like everything that's done, and they'll just leave it. They just come in and get married.
Yeah.
And so I like taking the pressure off of the bride and the parents.
And we have some photos of the venue I'd like to share with our viewers, and let these photos play out of the outside and the inside. So let's talk about like what the venue looks like. Let's describe it for folks who have never been there. On the outside, you can see it's just a beautiful building. As Tim had mentioned, it's near a lake. There's the outside, an area where the bride can come down. They can get married like right there on the steps or by the lake. There's different options. So let's talk about those options for brides and grooms, Regina.
Well, like that's the arbor, and we did have a wedding that wanted to get married closer to the water. And we've had several on the porch. We've had one in the very bitter cold that was on inside. And but it seems like everybody likes the rocking chairs.
Yes.
A lot of the people like to sit and rock. A lot of people like to fish because they can fish.
You can go fishing on your wedding day. Ease the nerves a little bit, right?
Yes.
That has happened.
And that has happened.
Did they catch anything?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it's a fun place for people to come, and it seems like and then there's the waterfall. That's a big feature that people like to listen to the water come by. If you're sitting on the porch, you can hear it.
And then there's the steps, so there's several levels here.
Yes, and the upstairs has 2 seating areas, plus tables for seating. And I tried to make it, you know, as just a personal place that you can just go and relax and.
Like very home-like and cozy.
Yeah, that was the whole goal of everything to me, is to make it feel like that's your home, like it's your place getting married.
How many people can fit inside your venue?
Inside seating, we can seat 150, 200, you know, if they stand. There is a balcony that goes all the way across, and people do like to stand there if there is an indoor wedding. But I can set up tables, as far as the reception goes, that'll seat 150 people inside.
Okay, that's really nice, and I'm glad you mentioned the inside and outside too, because if the weather is bad on the day that someone's getting married, the last thing you want is to be out in a storm somewhere where you can't move inside.
Exactly.
So you can choose to get married inside, outside. If the weather's bad, you can quickly move those folks inside then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so with it being wedding season now and planning ahead for those who just recently got engaged, when should they go about planning to book their venue? Because that's something that I've learned is venues can book very, very quickly. So when should they go about getting that venue booked or getting a tour of it?
I would say if you're going to get married within the year, absolutely get your venue booked. And like, we're new, so, you know, we do have more openings than other people around us, but we do get a lot of calls, a lot of, you know, emails, and like we've got bookings for 2023.
Wow.
So the sooner that you know your date, I would get right to looking at places.
Yeah, and you also offer tours, so we have some information for our viewers at home with the website and also a phone number. They're on Facebook as well, so we're going to leave this up for a minute. If you're at home and you want to take a picture of this with your smartphone or jot down some of this information, we'll leave this up for you to take a look at. So if someone is interested in getting a tour, how should they go about doing that?
A lot of times, Facebook is, that just seems to be the fastest thing right now, as people contact me. I do most of the answering of things, unless it's a phone, because he doesn't email. he doesn't Facebook. So,
But you do, Regina.
So I do that.
You have the Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. And I usually, if they Facebook me, I'm immediately back with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. Now, also, what other tips would you offer folks about, like, catering? Because I know when people come to your venue, you give them some more information about other things that they need to have their wedding be the perfect day. Like, what about catering and the other aspects of their wedding? When should they go about doing that and getting those things booked?
I would do my venue first, get that, and already be starting to look for my caterer. A lot of caterers are already booked.
Wow.
Like a year in advance. Some of the really, really good ones in our area are booked for 2 years.
Yeah, so the sooner you go about doing that,
with
the better.
Anything, really.
Right, but especially with weddings.
Especially with the venue and your caterer.
All right, well, we have much more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. Joining us once again are Regina and Tim Agnew. They have a beautiful wedding venue in Fancy Gap, Virginia. So let's talk about what you've been working on, like what's new at your venue, what's in progress right now. So I guess, Tim, I'll start with you, and then Regina can jump in.
Okay, the latest project we're working on is a parking lot. We already had a parking lot, but we was limited on how much it would hold. So we've always had an overflow area that we shuttle people down, but we've actually just built a new parking lot, just finished this week, that'll park an additional 50 vehicles. And it's located only about 50 yards off of the waterfall. So it's right there, easy walk to the reception area. And so it's in a good location. It's gonna give us a lot more room. And we have an old car that we offer for weddings, and so now we'll be able to keep it closer to the building now too. It's a 1928 Model A Roadster convertible, and we actually offer to give rides for the bride, groom in the vehicle, or the bridesmaids, whoever wants, down to the wedding site. So that'll be, no one's took us up on it yet, but it's gonna be.
Oh. See, that's great for photos. I think you can really get some like vintage looking black and white photos.
Yeah. yeah.
with that vehicle, and that comes with the venue once folks book it then?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We try to offer as much as we possibly can. The vehicle, we have a shelter area for a dance floor outside. We have walking trails through the woods that some are already complete and some are still under construction. Seating areas in the woods. It's nice nature walk around the property, kind of.
What about an area for a DJ to set up for the music too?
Oh yes, we have a nice area on the end of the venue, and we have an audio system also that comes with the building, that if a person wasn't able to get a DJ, we actually have the speakers inside, outside. It's a nice setup on the inside that we've actually had a wedding or two that they've used our system before. So.
That's wonderful. Now, Regina, what about options for folks if they want to like stay overnight or have like an extended wedding stay for the weekend?
Right now, that's what we're working on. The bridal suite's finished. And so the groom suite will be finished this coming week. And those will be two areas that will be able to stay overnight. And like the bride's room, I wanted it set up to where 4 girls can be getting dressed, and then there's a seating area in the room that anyone else, if there's 8 bridesmaids, 4 can be sitting, waiting to get ready. And there is beds in both rooms for overnight stays. And then we are wanting to, in the future, do 2 tiny houses.
Oh, neat.
That will house people and guests and things like that, so that we'll have on-site stay.
Yeah.
This seems like it's been a passion for both of you and kind of a joint effort as a husband and wife duo putting this together. What has been the most rewarding part for each of you doing this venue and putting it together from the ground up? Tim?
Well, I love building, and so it was therapy for me to even build the building. And so that was the best part for me. She comes in and does all the decorating, and it was night and day how much better it looks now than it did when it was just an empty building. And she has a lot of decorating ideas, a lot. And at first I sort of resisted. She would say, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I would resist as much as I could till she finally got her way. And then
She's smiling, she got her way, didn't she?
then I realized it was for the best.
Yeah.
So after about a year of doing that, I finally give in, and I don't even resist anymore. I say, whatever you want to do, we'll do it, and it turns out great.
And Regina, what's been the best part about you, for you working with Tim, your husband, on this project?
Well, it was interesting because we actually, many nights he sat with the sketchbook, and he would say, what do you think the outside should look like? Should we do this? Should we do that? And so it just, everything was his idea. And so to see him draw it out and then actually build what he drew was very fascinating to me, that he could even do such a thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the decorating part, because I love to do that. And I Pinterest a lot.
That helps, right?
Yeah. And I'll say, how much do you love me? And he'll say, what do you want me to build now?
Like, what's next? Oh, the tiny home on site.
I finally told him, I said, just don't ask no questions. Just do what I say, because it's got to be this way.
Yeah, just trust your instincts with it.
We haven't argued. We've got a lot so far. We've collaborated everything we've agreed on, and so it's been good because we get to see each other a lot.
Yeah, and that's nice. What do each of you do, like the day of, or helping the bride, the groom, and the family, like leading up to the wedding, and then like the day of the wedding?
Tim sets up the chairs. We have a couple of really good sets of friends, and they're always available, and they help us with things like that too. And him and the men usually go and do the outdoor stuff, and the girls will help me. And we're just at whatever the bride needs. And not just the bride, anyone that comes. You know, if her mom needs something, the grandmothers. I just want to make it as comfortable as possible for anybody that's there. And I want to be able to make them have just the best experience that they can.
Now, you also offer like your facility as an event venue. So what kind of events, or like who could reach out to you about setting up an event there?
Right now, it's just mainly weddings. We've had a couple birthday parties. One was for a little baby turning 1, so that was fun. We've had Santa there That was very
That
fun. That was
nice.
probably one of the best experiences we've had because he come with little ponies.
Oh.
And the children just, they got to spend as much time that he was there with the ponies, and that was fun. And then I made little baskets for him to take home, and
Yeah, he stayed about
we
3
done
hours.
cookies and hot chocolate, you know, and
Yeah.
and he stayed like 3 hours with the children, and so it was really, really, that was probably, and everybody wore pajamas.
So is that like a family booked it for Santa to come or something?
We actually done it.
Oh,
and
neat.
invited the whole community, whoever
Oh.
wanted to come. And then COVID hit, and he couldn't
Yeah.
come back for 2 years, but he's hopefully coming back this year.
Yeah, hopefully Santa will make it come
Hopefully
back.
Santa will make it back.
And our next project is an outdoor pavilion we're getting ready to
Oh.
start. That's actually the next project we're going to start on very soon. It's that's why we had to build a new parking lot, because the parking we had, we're going to build a 200 to 250 seat pavilion outside.
Wonderful.
That was her design. I used to design everything. She designed the actual structure, and it's going to be.
You have to stay tuned.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to stay tuned
Yeah,
for
yeah.
pictures of that on Facebook. I want to see the progress.
Yes, it's going to be very nice.
It'll be very unusual.
Yeah.
Now, would that be for like also for weddings to be outside the pavilion or other events? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be really nice. Looking ahead, what else would you all like to do with your venue? Like looking ahead down the road, like let's just say like 5-10 years down the road, like long term, how would you like to expand it from where you're at now to looking down the road?
Well, we actually have been in contact with a gentleman back where we live, that he's the owner of Sunshine Tours. And he's wanting to put the venue as a scheduled tour for Sunshine Tour, to bring the elderly people down there and hang out for the day, and they can fish, sit on the porch,
Yeah.
just hang out for the day. And that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be
as another option.
right, and that's nice. Like you said, there's fishing available as well, and it's just like it's really relaxing out there at your venue. It's beautiful. Well, we do have to take another quick break. We have more to talk about, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus, everyone. It's wedding season, so if you just recently got engaged, like me, I'm sure you're thinking about, you know, where do you want to book your venue? Now is definitely the time to start looking. So, Regina, you were saying that you're already looking ahead to 2023. So what's the process if someone is interested and they're just starting out looking at venues? What advice would you offer those brides-to-be or the families of the bride and the groom who are just starting to think about the venue?
You definitely want to think about not just the bride and where her and her girls are going to get dressed, but you got to think of the groom too.
True.
You know, is he going to have somewhere comfortable, and is it going to fit enough of his wedding party that'll be with him? You also want to think about your guests for sure, you know, and it's got to be big enough. You want to make sure that it has somewhere, if it does rain, is there a different area? If you want it outdoors, do you have tents? Do you have, or is there somewhere we can go inside? So there's just lots of things that you really need to think about when booking a venue. And of course, if the host treats you well when you get there and act like you're important.
Right, that matters.
That's huge.
And it is climate controlled.
And we try to make sure that we have heat in case we have winter weddings, and air condition.
Okay, that's important. I went to a wedding last May and it was just so hot and sticky, and there just really wasn't central air where we were at, and it is very uncomfortable when you're in a tuxedo or like a dress that's multiple layers. It gets really warm. So having that central, you know, whether it be AC
it's
or
big.
heat, that's a big deal.
And restrooms.
That too.
Or some form of being able to go to a restroom is nice.
Well, we have plenty of restrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, that counts a lot.
Yes.
You know, you want to have access to restrooms for all your guests, the bride, the groom, but everyone in the wedding party. Tim, what would you say is your favorite part about the venue that you all have?
Well, I like the layout of the building, because on one end, it's the actual venue, and it's connected to a breezeway, which holds the restrooms, which flows right into the commercial kitchen. Caterers love the kitchen. There's plenty of room to work, and they're not outside in the heat either, and the food is just right there. So everything sort of flows. It's a good flow pattern, and the porches, shaded, covered porches outside, The venue itself has a covered porch. The living area has 2 covered porches and balconies for the bride and grooms upstairs. So it's just a real homey feel, and building flows well, and everybody that has gotten married there so far has loved the environment they really have.
I was going to say, what's been the feedback, Regina, from like the brides, the grooms, the families who have gotten married there?
Everything went really smooth, and they love the waterfall, and they loved that they didn't have a lot of decorating to do. That was a biggie for a lot of them. Everybody's been waiting for the bride and groom suites, so they're finally finished, so I'm anxious to show those off to people. But everybody loves the kitchen. They love the kitchen and the stove. It's a blue stove. Everybody loves the blue stove. But
why do they love the kitchen so much, do you think?
Because it is roomy, and then you can sit around the, we got bar stools that's at the counter, and you can just sit there and talk. And I think they like that.
And that helps with the experience too, because like this is one of the biggest days of your life, so you want to have a good experience wherever you decide to book your venue. Now, at night, I saw pictures on your Facebook page. It looks like it transforms with like lights outside. So let's talk about that transformation.
Yes.
And more lights to come this year.
Good.
So, but yeah, I wanted everything, all the trees light up all through the waterfall. And so it's just, to me, it's magical. And that's one of my favorite parts is when the sun starts to go down.
And then like the area where people can dance outside, that's all covered in lights too, that little
and it's got curtains that I put up, and so all the curtains are lit up, and you kind of just feel like you're in just a little space, you're on a little dance floor, but yet you're outside, and you can hear the frogs, but my favorite time is when the sun goes down and all the lights start to light up.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. Now, in light of COVID, how did you all have to change the way you operated, like with the pandemic going on?
Well, we actually opened officially after COVID started. So we didn't have the strict guidelines, but our first wedding we did have to do the masks. And we do have COVID machines that we clean the venue. Everything's clean with foggers, and then we have, I always make sure that I have sanitizer on each table. So, there's gloves if people was to want to wear gloves. So we try to just make sure everything's available. But we was glad that the mask restrictions was lifted, because that first wedding, I felt bad for the people. Because it's hard to interact with the mask on, and they just have to take their pictures unless they were outside.
Right, exactly. So now, but you said you have that cleaning machine, so that that could help people feel more at ease, that you have that sanitation equipment.
And it's not just COVID, it's for flu, this time of the year, flu's going around, so it's nice to have something that you can sanitize in between anything that really goes on, even our own family get-togethers. It's nice to be able to spray the tables down and the chairs.
We had one wedding. I wanted to put this out there. We had a girl get married there last year, and I actually suggested that she leave on a boat, and we have a boat. And so they finally come around, and she left in her wedding dress, her and her new husband, on a 12-foot John boat.
Wow.
Right off the venue. It's only 30 feet off the water. And they was waiting on the photographers to set up on the other side of the lake to get pictures, and they caught a fish while they was waiting.
Oh, what? That is so cool.
And we have that picture on our Facebook, and it is just the cutest picture you've ever seen. It's nice.
And the music that was playing when he caught it was just, everything was just precious. So that was funny.
Yeah, what a memorable experience, though, to be out there. First of all, on a boat, I'd be nervous, like, getting your dress wet. God bless that bride for being careful.
She started to come over before, be brought in on the boat, and I think we all was like, it's better if you fall in after you're done getting married. but they done real good. That was an experience, though. That was fun.
Well, I've seen pictures on your Facebook of all seasons, too. So, like, in the fall, it looks nice with the leaves, but some of the winter pictures just look really magical, too. So is there a time of year right now where you're seeing, like, people wanting, like, a certain time of year over another right now?
Right now, fall.
Fall
is because of the leaves changing. And all the fall colors of the venue, and then it sparkles off the water.
We have a Christmas wedding.
We do have a
scheduled.
Christmas wedding this
And
year.
they fell in love with her. They seen the venue during Christmas, and she really goes out for Christmas. There's multiple Christmas
Decorations.
trees, and they want us to leave it as is. And with our Christmas decorations set up, that's how they want to get married there. So that'll be nice this next December.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time here, but Regina, any concluding thoughts for those watching this morning, for brides, grooms, or anyone else who's involved with the wedding planning?
Just be patient with each other, and just get you a list and have your checklist. And as you go, check your things off. Venue first, then your caterer, and I would say you DJ too. I would get them pretty quick if you're wanting a DJ. And just try to have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the biggest days of your life, so enjoy it.
Exactly.
Tim, concluding thoughts from you for our viewers?
It's really worthwhile coming and seeing the property and the building. It's very nice. Whether you plan on getting married or not, maybe schedule something different. It's a very nice get away from what you're used to seeing. So you're welcome to come and see the place.
Yep, set up a tour, and as Regina said, like, she's very responsive on Facebook, so go ahead
Very
and
responsive.
send her a Facebook message. Well, Tim and Regina Agnew, I want to thank both of you for coming in this morning and sharing some more information about your venue.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, yes.
And that does it for this edition of In Focus. We'll see you all again next Sunday. Have a great day.